so today we're going to be doing a welt pocket into knit fabric. The tip that I find quite useful is to cut along the welt pocket placement markings on my pattern piece, as so. We're going to be drawing the welt pocket markings onto the wrong side of our pattern piece, and cutting out those markings makes it easier to work out exactly where that needs to go. So I'm using a regular pen here. You'd probably use a fabric marking pen when you're doing this on your pattern. So now we've got our welt pocket marking marked on the wrong side of our pattern piece. We're going to place right sides together, the welt pocket facing onto our front pattern piece, and pin it in place. This is going to be quite a long video, so feel free to pause as needed. I've got my sewing machine set up with my walking foot. Using a walking foot makes sewing with knit fabric a heck of a lot easier. So we're going to go over to our sewing machine now. You want to start in a corner, sew to the next corner. It's a good idea to stop with your needle in the down position, just makes it all a little bit easier. Okay, so now we've sewn along our welt pocket markings. Now we're going to cut that out. I use a rotary cutter. I find it a lot easier. So I'll use my rotary cutter to cut up the center, and then I'll use my scissors to cut into the corners. You want to go as close to the corners as you can go without cutting through them. See, I've done like a little triangle in my corners. And now what we're going to do is take out our pins and push our welt pocket facing through to the wrong side of the fabric. We're then going to iron this flat. If you push it through and it's not looking like it's going to lie flat, it probably just means you haven't cut into the corners closely enough. So in which case you would just turn it back to the other side, snip a little bit closer, and try again. So I'm going to press this flat. The welt pocket facing makes the covering for the welt pocket. I find it easiest to do that by fully folding this back this way and pressing, and then we're going to fold it back again such that that gap there is covered with the piece of fabric. So press well, and then we're going to pin that in place. It's quite thick with all the layers of fleece, but do the best you can. You'll notice, see, there's a gap here. This is where we've gone up to the line, but on the other side there isn't a gap because that's where the other side of the facing is. We're now going to sew around the edges of our welt pocket. This can be pretty tricky to do. I usually will move my needle to the side so that I can just line the center of my foot up with the edge of the pocket. When you're sewing this side, take care that you don't accidentally sew the pocket shut. So now we've got a lovely welt pocket. But the pocket won't, everything would just fall through the pocket, so we've got to add a facing to our pocket. Over this way, trim that back. So we've got our welt pocket facing piece. What we're going to do is lay the welt pocket facing piece over right sides down. And then we're going to sew around these edges. And then your welt pocket will be finished. Just another little tip that I forgot to mention earlier. Before you sew your welt pocket, it's a good idea to use some fusible knit interfacing. This is the brand I use. It's a Legacy brand from Spotlight. I would cut a small section of this and sew that to the wrong side of my top front panel before cutting with the welt pocket. So that's the story. I hope that helps. See you later.